You're listening to the Packernet Podcast Network.
U.S. Cellular has noticed the way we use our phones has gotten ironic. We try to put our phones down for dinner, but the menu's on a QR code. That's ironic. We hit like on social posts that we don't actually like, which is ironic. Which is why U.S. Cellular created Us Mode, to help us reconnect with each other and use our phones less ironically. A phone company wanting people to use their phones less is ironic. Let's find us again with Us Mode from U.S. Cellular. Visit uscellular.com/built-for-us to get started.
Hey y'all, Marcy Martin here with a little Tampax story. One time I went on vacation in the Bahamas with some friends, and of course I got my period. I didn't want anything to stop me from living my best life on my trip, so I was like, why not be brave and try Tampax? Before that, I really just thought tampons were for adults, and I definitely thought they'd be uncomfortable. Guess what, y'all? They really aren't. It might take a few tries, but once it's in right, you shouldn't feel it, which is great. For a better way to period, just add Tampax.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome into the Packers Total Access Postgame Show. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on Packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us, 865-658-5824. Join alongside Emilio here to talk Packers-Ravens as the Green Bay Packers defeat the Baltimore Ravens. What was that final score there? Was it 30-7, Emilio?
Yeah, I like it.
Great showing by the Green Bay Packers. Obviously, there at Lambeau Field. Had a huge crowd. I believe it was, 72,239 was the official attendance tracker. So just a huge crowd. We're going to talk about all that, give you all the news, the notes, the stats, everything. Emilio, so we'll get this thing kicked off. I think Jacob might be out chasing skirt. I'm not sure. We'll find out shortly. But it's your initial take on the game here, man. What did you think? It's pretty – I think it's important to create a little momentum going into the regular season. What do you think, man?
Well, definitely. I mean, so we're cutting down to 70 in a few days, right? So everyone that was out there, we had just shy of 40 sitting. So I love the energy that they had on the sideline, but man, those guys still had something to prove going out there and playing. I'm happy with how, they performed. I'm sure Matt was happy. Obviously we got the win. Even if we lost, I think the energy was good. They were all hustling out there. I love how many times the defense got their hands on a ball, tipped, punched out, whatever. That was awesome to see. I know Clifford had a rough start, but kind of finished strong. I like that, and Pratt as well. So really all around, great performance. I don't think Matt's got, too much to complain about. I'm sure there's a lot of teaching moments, but good job.
I completely agree. We're going to keep our eye on Packers.com too, or on their Twitter page to see if we can catch Matt LaFleur at the podium. Why don't we do this? Why don't we just jump right into the box score and talk about some of the things that we've seen today? Maybe just take it one position at a time here. Let's start with the quarterbacks. So obviously Michael Pratt and Sean Clifford played today. Michael Pratt went 8 of 12 for 80 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Sean Clifford went 6 of 14 for 53 yards with a touchdown, no interceptions. So pretty decent day, I think, for Michael Pratt, other than the pick that kind of hurt. And if I remember correctly, wasn't he pressured on that throw too? Am I thinking right, Emilio? Didn't he get his – no, the contact he had was trying to make the tackle.
Right, yeah. No, I think that was honestly, that one kind of looked weird when it looked like he double clutched it almost off the quick look. And then I think it was Joel Wilson kind of cut the route short. And I think he expected him to keep going, or last second he decided that he didn't want to throw that in breaker and he wanted to hit that corner route, and it just, couldn't make the decision.
Right. Rob Nomofsky actually tweeted this out fairly early on in the game. This is one of Michael Pratt's touchdowns. Mm-hmm. This was a touchdown pass to Bo Melton, and he tweeted this out from Next Gen Stats. Really cool how they do this. So the set that you're showing here on that touchdown pass from Pratt to Melton was, it looks like an 11-gun nub left. So anytime you say 11-gun nub left, that means you got trips right, okay? Or you could say 11-gun trips right, nub left. Typically 11-gun nub left will do the job. So what you got here is, obviously you got the tight end. Nub left simply means a tight end on one side of the formation with no other targets, no other receivers on that side. You had Samori Toure in the 3 spot. You have Bo Melton in the 2. and then you have Malik Heath in the 1. Now, I can't remember exactly. It seemed like they ran a Haas concept here where they had a curl/sit with a deep route, kind of very similar to dagger, but you attack curl underneath with a 9 route. And then I believe they had a choice route on with Samori Toure that looked like it could have been a curl out choice. Let's watch it unfold here as you see the play, ball snap. So there you see the Haas concept. You see Toure start to work outside. They're in a single high look. The safety, for whatever reason, hugged the middle of the field, and that gave them just enough room to hammer that go ball to Bo Melton. And Emilio, I wish we could show the video because it was a hell of a throw by Michael Pratt, back shoulder to Bo Melton. What about Bo Melton making an adjustment there too, man? That dude, I think he's got to be on the roster, man. And I know Malik Heath had a day too. We'll talk about that. But.
Yeah, because, I mean, even still, I saw earlier in that drive and on a couple others, man, he was getting down and dirty. No block, no rock. And I think he was really, preaching that today.
No block, no rock.
Thank you, Matt. Just a little backup. When he caught that one, I thought it hit him in the face mask. Like he caught it twice, kind of, and then just brought it in. Dude, any way you got to catch it, bring it in. You can roll the shoulders, and it's game time afterwards. But, it was a late back shoulder, quick hands late, and good ball.
Yeah, it was a great ball, man.
And it was kind of that same route that Wicks ran on against the Browns. That sort of same, fade wheel, and it was just there.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, another play that Rob Domofsky tweeted out was the Aaron Mosby. We'll just go ahead and knock these out, get them out of the way, then we'll go back to the box score. How's that sound?
Yeah, that sounds good.
So, or you know what? We got it queued up. Yeah. Now let's do it this way. So on the Aaron Mosby strip sack, I mean, this dude looked like he was shot out of a cannon. I was in the pool like the lazy bum I am, and I jumped up and had to almost put the Papal glasses on. I'm like, who the hell was that? Because it was like he was shot out of a cannon, dude. I mean, he just got off the ball so well. Strip sack obviously forced the fumble, and I believe it was Anthony Johnson Jr. that picked it up and returned it. I want to key in on the formation here. To me, this looks like it's a fairly even split there. It doesn't really look like an over or a no. We're definitely in the under. We're in the under here, ain't we? Nickel.
We're a nickel, isn't it? Isn't that AJJ? So he's walked down, so we got him kind of on the spur there. But I like the over. Opposite of the running back, because 90% of the time in that sidecar look, that handoff is coming across the face of the quarterback. So I think they're in great position. But like you said, man, that left tackle looked like he was frozen. The way Mosby shot out of there.
It's kind of hard to tell, but I think it's an under front. It's a nickel 4-2-5 under with a spur safety. Look at 94, how he's in between the tackle and the guard.
Yep,
and 96 is on the inside shoulder of the guard. So that would be, so that's definitely an under. They're playing under the tight end side, but they bring the spur safety and Anthony Johnson Jr. up to meet that run fit on the right side, right?
Yep.
And again, watch 53 off the corner as we go in real time here. Speed. Look at that, bro. He had no time. And Next Gen Stats has got it pretty well down pat. Let's see how much time he actually had. Watch the seconds tick off here, okay? And the ball snaps. So it snaps immediately. Yeah, right at 2 seconds. I mean, right at 2 seconds.
And you know what he didn't? He didn't hesitate when that tackle stepped down, right? The tackle stepped down to hug the guard, and he didn't even think twice about putting a hand on that man.
Yeah.
He said, I'm going right for the quarterback.
Yeah, so Aaron Mosby, huge play there. Anthony Johnson Jr. scoop and score. Another 36 doing a Lambeau leap off a forced fumble. How cool is that, man? That's time is a flat circle. All right, next play that Rob Domofsky tweeted out from Next Gen Stats. Aaron Mosby comes flat free, as Dom Capers used to say, unblocked for a strip sack, Anthony Johnson Jr. That's the play that he was just talking about. Have a day, Aaron Mosby. He just quote tweeted it. I wanted to see if he had the other play by Mosby, and he did not. That's okay. What about Aaron Mosby? Didn't he get an interception too? Am I thinking right, Emilio?
I think he did. He did. That was wasn't that an edge dropping into coverage there, Clay?
See, now I wasn't going to say anything.
I'm sorry.
You brought it up. Yes, that is correct, Emilio. That was an edge defender dropping into coverage, same as Don Capers did, same as Mike Pettin did, same as Joe Barry did, although some people on Twitter would lead you to believe that Joe Barry was the only person in the history of the game to have an edge defender drop into coverage when it works. nobody complains, though, right?
Exactly.
Nobody complains. They're going, great call, Jeff Hafley.
Dude,
So,
and he looked that thing right in. I mean, that was to a T. Make the triangle, catch it, and go.
oh, dude, it was Mosby. Now, listen, I'm not going to sit here and say he played himself onto the roster, but he made this a lot more difficult for Matt LaFleur.
He could have played himself onto the practice squad for sure, though.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
I mean, like locked sort of spot. You know what I mean?
No doubt about it, man. Back to the box score. Let's focus in on the running game, and we'll come back to the defensive side. I just wanted to hit on some of that since we already had that Rob Domofsky Twitter page pulled up. I'm trying to keep an eye on the pressers, too. Nothing yet from Packers.com, I don't believe. Yeah, no, so we're still good. So, yeah, as far as the running backs, Emilio, seen a lot of Merriweather today, 16 carries, 74 yards. Not a bad little day at the office, right? Could have been a lot worse. Had a long of 13. Nate McCrary, 11 carries for 64 yards. So it's 6.4 yards a carry. Nice little day there. 18 was his long. Emmanuel Wilson, 11 carries for 52 yards. Emmanuel Wilson, bro, did he not look good there?
He looked really good. He looked really good. I'm honestly surprised he's the third, most in yards, because I thought he was all over the place. He broke through a couple holes. He kept bouncing, bouncing off tackles. It was nice.
Yeah, look at this. Coach Lynn in the chat said Mosby over Cox. LOL. Just like that. It's like calling for a genie, Joe. Coach Lynn,
I'm in a dumpster.
Watch Jacob jump in here. He'll just magically appear on the show now that
he said
Mosby over Cox. But yeah, no, a hell of a day. I see people talking about Christian Welch in the chat too. Man,
yep.
That dude.
Yeah, he had another pick too. There was he had that the second one where our man KO had a little bit of a crackback, but hey, I'm all right with that. That's
Dennis Shook getting creepy in here says, Emilio, take your dang shirt off. There you go. Don't tell him that. He will. Trust me. He's there's been many times like, God, I gotta hurry. He's rushing home and going to get dressed. If you guys knew how unprofessional this was as we get ready to get going every night. So
definitely.
Running backs, though, so overall, 39 carries for 193 yards. Pretty good day at the office. What's that average there, Emilio? Can you do that math? Do you know that math? If not, I got a calculator.
I don't know that math on hand.
Do it real quick here.
40 out of 20, I'd say, around 5 yards? A little under 5 yards a carry, maybe.
4.9 yards a carry. That's we'll take that. Granted, there's a bunch of backups, but yeah.
That's got to make Matt happy, though. I mean, look, we ran the ball 40 times, we passed it 25. So that's. I mean, if we can have games like that all year, I think he would be absolutely ecstatic. Just lean on the run game, run them. Looking at it, though, I mean, we used 3 running backs. Obviously, it's preseason, but we used 3 running backs, picked one, that had a couple extra carries, but everyone's getting a lot of use. So I think we got to kind of keep that in mind when we're looking at that roster moving forward.
Definitely. And Respect Orange says PTA calendar incoming with topless pinups for Dennis. There you go, Dennis. Special order, sir. All right, here's Coach LaFleur at the podium. As we always say, I can't control the volume. I can only crank it as loud as it'll go. Hopefully you guys can hear the coach and see what he's got to say here after this big win. As big a preseason win as it could be, I would say, getting ready to head into the regular season.
Hard. I thought they did, for the most part, they did what we asked them to do. There's a couple throws that you always want to have back. Certainly the interception there when Pratt looked. I mean, you gotta be just a little more cautious in that situation.
And okay, I remember Rodgers in London thought he was fine after that game and he ended up having a pretty bad thumb injury.
I didn't know he hurt his hand until you.
It looked like he hit his hand on something.
No, he got the everything crap knocked out of him. And he couldn't breathe. He just lost his wind. He was fine.
Yeah, that's what Mandy said.
Tell the guys today that you were.
It's hilarious. We were watching it live, and Mandy went, "He's fine. He just got the breath knocked out of him." I was like, and they watched that play. I don't know, and they played it back and went, "She's right. He just got the breath." Yeah. She's seen it first time, bro.
We weren't going to play the starters. Did you have them go through warm-ups and then tell them, or did you tell them ahead of time?
We told them yesterday. We had a practice. Might have had a practice yesterday.
What was that?
A closed practice.
let something slip.
How did you then go about weighing the risk of playing them against? I mean, you talked about the momentum you guys thought you generated by playing them all last year and then playing as well as you can.
Yeah, I think every situation's a little bit different. You got to be smart and calculated in regards to the decisions that you make with your team. And I thought the work that we got in the other
Sit
day
your butt
was really
outside.
good. I thought just we had a really interesting practice the way we did it in terms of splitting up the team. One team was, or the guys that were playing today were walking through doing cards versus Baltimore, where the guys that we didn't play today we had like a 20 play deal that we did, and just wanted to get a little bit more stuff that we potentially could start running here in the near future.
The team, the players between now and the cuts?
Well, the way that our schedule works, it's a unique deal in regards to the timing of our game being that it's on a Friday. So they will be off the next 3 days. They'll be off Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then we'll bring them back in Wednesday and we'll get together.
With backup.
That's interesting. Did you
That's after the Brazil game, right?
No, I think he was talking about cut downs. Now, I could have misunderstood this, and you guys chime in the chat if we did. Did he ask about when the cut downs were going to take place? He said, that's what's interesting. We're going to have the next 3 days off, and then they'll be back Wednesday, but the cuts actually happen on Tuesday.
No, so I thought it was after the Brazil game, the way the NFL, I thought he said after the Brazil game, we'll play Friday. They'll have the next, it'll be Saturday, Sunday. They have the next 3 days off.
Gotcha.
Sunday, Monday. I think flying back Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. They'll be back Wednesday. I think that's what he was saying.
Let's see if we can catch that again.
Hidden yardage, if you will, when you get hit on contact and you're falling forward.
Okay, I misunderstood it. I thought they were asking him about cuts. That's my bad.
Those every yard counts, so those add up in a hurry.
Was Rochelle injured?
Yes, well, kind of. Didn't feel like he could open it up enough to go out and play.
Matt, you got a bunch of young linebackers that I know you like, but what has Christian Welch shown you throughout this whole preseason, and what has he done to make things maybe difficult for you guys?
Yeah, he's just a smart, tough, physical player. I thought that interception that he had was an outstanding play. It looked like, to me, he baited the quarterback right there as a hook player and just made a great break on the ball and made the play. And then he had a heck of a return.
You highlighted Aaron Mosby the other day. It's kind of unfair that Anthony picks up that fumble instead of just letting Aaron pick that up and finish the
I was glad we scored.
How impressive is what he did today, and do you think?
Yeah, it was extremely impressive to have 2 takeaways, the forced fumble, and I thought that was a pretty physical play, and then come away as a dropper, which we don't do a ton of, and he's sitting there right in the window and make the pick. I thought those were 2 outstanding plays by him.
I want to hit on this real quick. We'll pause it and come back to it. Drew D says LaFleur not wanting to say Rochelle was injured for cutting purposes, maybe. That's kind of what perked my ears up, too. It's like he started to talk about it, and he was So, yeah, there's going to be some chess being played when we get down to these final cuts for sure. Anything you want to add to this point, Emilio, or do you want to keep going here?
Yeah, no, I like how he said, he was a dropper. We don't do that a lot, but
exactly.
I'm sure with big roster decisions, there's not always 100% consensus. How do those conversations with Brian take place, and how do you get to a place where you figure out where those final 53 spots are at?
Is that the case all the time, or is that a new wrinkle? Like Ted used to always go down there, but I don't know if he actually talked.
I think we have more. He's usually down there more so in the preseason and less in the regular season. So, and especially when I'm not calling the game, it definitely frees you up to kind of have some conversations and, in game. And I personally thought it was really beneficial, to be honest with you, especially when you're talking about who you want to see, who you want to get in the game. And so it's a pretty good collaboration there.
Page now, what are some of the...
Sorry, what was that, Jason?
That called the offense, or did you have somebody else?
No, we actually had 2 different guys do it today. So Jason Brable called the first half, and John Dunn called the second half.
There you go. So they had Jason Brable call the first half, and who called the second half? You say
John Dunn.
John Dunn, the tight ends coach, right?
Yeah.
I love it about Matt, man. He's just constantly trying to include people. You know what I mean? Like he did that with Getsy. He obviously, kind of, yeah. He got who's the offensive coordinator? I've already forgot his name now. Nathaniel Hackett got him a huge payday going to Denver, right? With the offense that he's designed here. So pretty cool that he's letting other guys call. The play.
Absolutely.
And we did the same thing with our defense today. All of like a lot of guys called the game today.
That's awesome.
The page now from the preseason and get ready for that trip to Brazil. What are some of the?
All right, it keeps resetting, so it's kind of jumping around. I don't want to confuse people, especially those who are listening on the podcast. So we'll get back to that here in a minute. What any takeaways there, Emilio, as we jump back into the box score here, man?
Just that, I think he's happy with where they're at right now. Obviously, everyone was fighting for a spot there, but, he was talking right here. Coach Len hit it. He was talking about Goot there, saying, it's nice having him on the field. We can see who we really want. Gooty's the one churning the bottom of the roster while Matt's coaching. So who do we want to see on the field? Who do we want to get a couple reps? If we're both down there, what do we think of this guy sort of thing? And I like that communication is moving.
U.S. Cellular has noticed the way we use our phones has gotten ironic. We try to put our phones down for dinner, but the menu's on a QR code. That's ironic. We hit like on social posts that we don't actually like, which is ironic. Which is why U.S. Cellular created Us Mode, to help us reconnect with each other and use our phones less ironically. A phone company wanting people to use their phones less is ironic. Let's find us again with Us Mode from U.S. Cellular. Visit uscellular.com/built-for-us to get started.
You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Lips and Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Lips and Ads. Go to lipsandads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com. You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Lips and Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Lips and Ads. Go to lipsandads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com. You're a podcast listener, and this is a podcast ad. Reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Lips and Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a reproduced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience with Lips and Ads. Go to lipsandads.com now. That's LIBSYN ads.com.
Completely agree. I think a lot of that conversation was Goot saying, Matt, these two guys here, what are we thinking? And I noticed Goot was talking to a couple of other assistant coaches too. I guarantee he's saying, hey, between these two players here, how you feeling type thing, right? Mm-hmm. I think it's cool, man. I'm not saying I would want the GM or an owner on the sideline during a regular season game, but right. I think in this situation, pretty cool to see Goody down there for sure. So
yeah, and like you said, he's not calling the game, so he can pay attention to a little bit more of everything else going on.
Absolutely,
and it is awesome that he does give them those chances.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so moving on to the wide receiver room, Malik Heath led the charge today. Targeted 5 times, had 4 catches, 39 yards, and a touchdown for old water cooler. Samori Toure was targeted 4 times, had 2 catches for 28 yards. Emmanuel Wilson, 2 targets, 2 catches, 26 yards. We talked about the weak spot of his game is the passing game as a receiving back and then also his pass pro. The fact that he came away with 2 targets, 2 catches, pretty important there in my opinion. Bo Melton, 2 targets, have 1 catch for 18 yards and that back shoulder throw touchdown. Joe Wilson, 3 targets, 2 catches, 11 yards, and the rest is pretty abysmal there. I'm trying to see if anybody got a lot of targets and very few catches. Doesn't look like DeBose only got 1 target. I think DeBose is going back to the practice squad, man.
And we only threw the ball 20 times. We already went over that. So it's crazy that, we got a lot more work for our running backs this game, that's for sure. But I think you're right. DeBose is probably locked up that practice squad spot, but he was blocking well. But Malik Heath, man, he was balling out today. When he caught that touchdown pass, those late hands,
Yeah.
I mean, late hands over his shoulder.
And I think you said it. I can't remember. Maybe who was it this morning? I mean, Jacob this morning. Someone said here recently how Malik Heath wasn't afraid to jaw with Jair in practice and family night and everything.
Yeah.
Like, he's and you've seen after he made that touchdown catch, the dude just doesn't look intimidating. It doesn't look like the stage is too big for him.
No.
I mean, we've seen it in the Giants. Wasn't it him that made the catch in the Giants game?
Yep.
That tied it up there at the end or whatever.
He's not worried about it. He played at Ole Miss. He's been around big crowds. It's not like he hasn't played, in those kind of situations. Set his man up, stacked him, got his hips turned outside, and literally once he turned his head around, that ball was already on his shoulder.
Yeah.
So,
final 53 last year, we kept 6 wide receivers. So if we keep 6 this year, to me, it's feeling like, and again, they may only carry 5, right? It feels like it's going to be Malik Heath and Bo Melton, and then they're going to try to put Grant DuBose on the practice squad. So you would have Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs, Dontavion Wicks, Jaden Reed, Bo Melton, and Malik Heath is what it feels like. They may feel like they can get Malik Heath on the practice squad. I don't know if it's worth the risk that.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, if we had that kind of 4 catches, 10 yards a catch, and a touchdown, I mean, that's something that a team might take a shot at for their 5th wide receiver, their 4th wide receiver, right? So, I mean, for him being our 6th, we got to make sure that he's locked up. But I think, Toure, DuBose, we can, put them on the practice squad and still be able to get through with it.
Yeah. And it looks like Coach LaFleur is still at the podium. Before we jump into the defense, why don't we go back there real quick?
Pull him
and
back
see what
up.
else he's saying. And I'm also eager to see if anyone else comes to the podium. But here's Coach Matt LaFleur once again.
But I think every situation is going to be a little bit different.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a great
Perfect timing. So that's it. There you go. You heard it from a fan. I was sitting there thinking, watch it wrap up as soon as we go back to it.
Right as he hit it, yeah.
I definitely want to give you guys any kind of soundbite we can from the head coach, obviously any chance you can get, but I also don't want us to sit here and be boring and everybody like, I can watch the presser, Clayton. I'm trying to listen to a live Packers.
What'd you think of Henry Pearson out there?
I didn't key in on him much, to be honest with you. I just don't, with the direction that the offense is going, like think about what we've talked about. There's a lot of 12 personnel. We're showing you outside zone looks, both strong and weak, and the RPO approach that's attached to it. We're talking about the slicing that goes on. Most of the time, every time, the slice block that Matt LaFleur loves so much comes from the U position. So can Henry Pearson do that? Absolutely he could. There's no doubt. But it just feels like it's more of a 12 team as opposed to a 21. Still, I mean, that goes without saying. But I don't know, man. I just don't see any scenario where he makes the 53.
I don't think he's going to make the 53. But do you think that he's one that we would want to keep on the practice squad and rotate him? Because I think that Matt, I feel like against a couple teams, if we like a 21 look, I think he could be pulled up for a game or two definitely this year. And Matt would actually use him, pretty regularly in that game.
Meaning if you face a team, a couple weeks out of the year that you go, hey, we really like our advantage against their base defense type thing. And then, all right, let's activate him. Because he was on the practice squad pretty much all year last year.
Right. And I would totally take that. I mean, if we want to go power eye, wishbone, full house, whatever, I think that he would be a perfect, someone that we want to, he's blocking 80% of the time. But we can still have, and we're not using up Tucker Kraft in that spot sort of thing. Yeah. I think that's where it's kind of like, that's where I'm back and forth. I mean, we could go out with a 22 personnel, right? Luke and Tucker out there and a running back and Pearson sort of thing. Nice heavy set and see where that goes. But I think that we could get some of those matchups.
Yeah. Coach Lynn said, did Telford lock up the number 9 or 10 offensive line spot on the 53? It's a great question. So last year we carried, we carried 11 actually. So let's go 10. All right. Let's say, all right, we're going to carry 10 this year. I'm not suggesting that's what they'll do, but let's just kind of set it at 10. Mm-hmm. If we were to try to predict the 10 offensive linemen, let's see where Telford falls here. I'm going to drop that comment. Thank you so much, Coach. Obviously, I'll keep it started there so we know who he's talking about. Rasheed Walker, Elton Jenkins, Josh Myers, Jordan Morgan, Zach Tom. All right. Then you've got Jacob Monk and Sean Ryan. I think they're slam dunks to make the roster. That's 7 now. Okay. So now it comes down to Andre Dillard, Kadeem Telfort, probably Luke Tenuta, maybe Donovan Jennings. I feel like Travis Glover might be a little further back, but didn't he? Travis Glover actually got snaps with the threes last week, right?
Yeah.
So there's a chance there, I guess. The question is, who's going to be your backup left tackle? I think Andre Dillard has got that. That's just me personally. So if he's the backup left tackle, go, all right, who's going to be the backup right tackle? And this is what Coach Lynn was talking about. If Dillard is your backup left tackle, that's 8. So if you've got 2 more spots, it's going to come down to who do you want to keep? Caleb Jones, Kadeem Telfort, Donovan Jennings, Luke Tenuta, or Travis Glover. You can pick 2 out of those to hit that 10 spot. I don't know, man. I think Telfort's got as good a shot as anybody, but I'm not going to sit here and BS you, Coach. I don't know. How do you feel about it, Amelia?
I think that's where I'm kind of hung up is, you're locked in at 8. I honestly almost think they might go a little light on the O-line getting through cut downs. And I feel like we could stash more of our O-linemen than we could stash maybe some of our skill guys. Maybe they look to re-sign him afterwards, but I want my man Glover on the team, but I think that he's more of that right tackle. I didn't see them put him at left tackle, and I did see Telfort kind of flip-flop, I think. So I think they like that ability for him.
Yeah. In a perfect world, you would like your swing tackle to be able to play both sides.
Right. And
I just don't think we have that guy on the roster. So I'm wondering if they're going to patch it together with Andre Dillard being the primary backup at left tackle and then work the rest of the guys in at right tackle. That's kind of what it feels like. Sean Ryan is going to be a backup at 3 positions. I think it'll be right guard, center, and left guard. Jacob Monk, as let's see here, Coach Monk in the chat said, boys, the Monk man looked good today. I didn't key in on him much. Did you notice anything about Jacob Monk? I know we got Jacob Beard in here now. Did you guys notice anything when it came to Monk today?
I thought he looked good.
Yeah, he was starting at center, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about it at all.
No bad snaps or anything, right?
No.
Don't remember seeing any false starts, nothing like that.
And every time I see him, he's always down the field blocking, or he's always the first one getting up the running back. I mean, he's that kind of guy that's going to be right there by your hip, push the pile, all that. I think that if we know he's solid at backup center, man, that's ideal. We could rotate, find the best 5.
Yeah, definitely. Jacob, as we get ready to continue hitting these comments here, let's just get your initial takeaways from the game. And we're just kind of climbing through the box score, answering questions, that type of thing.
Yeah, man, I enjoyed the game. I'll tell you what I definitely didn't do. I definitely didn't kick back in my chair around midway through the 4th quarter and fall asleep for about 35 to 45 minutes. That definitely didn't happen. I just didn't wake up in a panic and went, That's not what happened. But man, dude, I was really excited. I don't know if you guys have highlighted these, but right now, really was impressed with Nate McCreary, really impressed with Emmanuel Wilson, Malik Heath, and I think Mr. Bo Melton got their way onto the team today. I thought that Joe Wilson also had a good game. He had one drop I saw that I just, bugged me. But other than that, man, I think Clifford had a decent day after the first initial onslaught of him kind of just being poopy. At one point, I think he was 1 for 7. I think Pratt showed that he's probably R2. It just looks like he is, man. He just looks poised. He's going to learn that you can't run downfield and try to throw blocks, and you can't throw tackles. Otherwise, you're going to start. He looked like, what was it? You ever seen the clip of the 2 ladies in the news clip where they're at a winery and they're stamping on grapes, and then one of them slips, and all you hear is, That's kind of what I pictured Pratt doing. It looks like he caught a freaking elbow right in the chest or a shoulder right in the chest.
Yeah.
And
we need to get the soundbite cut for that, don't we, Amelia?
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Randy Cleaver says Pratt is not a tackler. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. They're at the winery. It's the grape stomp, right?
And the newscasters are like, wow. I don't think she's okay. We should probably check on her.
Just cut away. Yeah. That's a classic.
Yeah, and Mosby had a great game too. Really good.
Yeah, 2-0 for this. People were already hitting you up in the chat before you were here. Said now that Jacob's here, the chat's consensus is that Mosby is better than Cox. Thoughts?
You watch your damn mouth. You keep Cox out of your mouth, all right? You know what I said? What I said.
Emilio.
I could tell he was doing something. He went kind of cross-eyed for a minute, and he just got real quiet.
I just don't know.
It's
sometimes
more and more difficult every show we do. That's insane. All right, Jacob, stop, please.
Just the tip, though.
My God.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway,
Oh,
back
Lord.
to the important stuff. You bunch of knuckleheads. It's hilarious, man. We're less than 12 hours away from being remonetized.
Oh, yeah. Guys, come on. Shape up, you bunch of degenerates. Got to make some money here.
Oh, man.
All right. Well, let's move along to the stats here. So Sean Clifford had a fumble. I think he recovered his own fumble, right? Anthony Johnson Jr. had that fumble recovery from obviously Aaron Mosby with the strip sack. Christian Young recovered a fumble as well. Now,
That was from Kalen King's tackle, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Absolutely. Bite the ball.
And that was like, I seen Kalen King a couple of times before that play, and I got to be real. You guys know I'm rooting for the dude. I think he has potential to be one of the steals of the draft.
He's been a little sloppy.
I wasn't impressed, right? And then all of a sudden, bang, and I literally was, who was that? It was Kalen King. So, and you're going to get that with him. That kind of showed up on the tape. He's very physical tackler.
Didn't he have didn't he blow somebody up in the backfield and his helmet came flying off too?
Yes,
or
he
maybe
did.
it wasn't in the backfield, but he.
It wasn't behind the it wasn't a tackle for a loss, but it was a gang tackle, maybe like a 2 or 3 yard stop kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, he's blew him up. Also, I don't know if you guys have talked about, but Anthony Johnson Jr. He's gonna make it hard, dude. He's gonna make it hard for him to have. There's 5 safeties is gonna even push the envelope, I think. But you could argue honestly that we could. I mean, you can't obviously keep more than 5, but everybody at the safety position. I'm talking even like guys like Benny Sapp look like he's playing hard. Guys like God, I can't remember what his name was, but he looked like he was coming to play too, dude. It was
Zane.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Zane Anderson. Like, I think Goody did take probably our worst positional group and make it into maybe our strongest in one year. That's crazy. Oladapo, dude. Oladapo. I don't know if y'all noticed. He was out there running around. Very, very.
He's 27, right?
Yes, he is.
Yep. Yeah. Did you see him get the penalty? The crackback?
Yeah, but
I liked it.
That was a good play, bro. I'm telling you, that was a clean block as far as.
No, Jacob, sir. I wanted.
They said it's a clean block on a freaking. It's really stupid how the rule is.
That was a clean block back in high school.
They said it was a clean block on like a punt return, but because of the fact that you can't do a blindside block on a return, like so that to me pisses me off a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
I'm not saying I agree with the rule. I'm just saying it. By the rule, it was a penalty.
I'll be honest. I did. You do line those up, though. I mean, back in the day, those are the ones you line up, man. And that kid's going to sleep for a second.
Dude, my whole MO, all I used to do, I used to long snap, and I was a center, and I was so bad. I would snap, and I would go forward, and I'd just peel this way, and I'd look for mother effers to be running around, and I would just decleat them every time.
And then when Warren Sapp did it to Chad Clifton, you were like, "Oh, it's so dirty!" Right?
How dare you? Well, that was on an interception return, so that is different.
Fair game. Oh, that's hilarious, man. I love how you're like, I know it's a rule. It's still a bad call.
It's a bad rule.
Jacob's that dude that leads the police on a 20-minute chase because he's drunk, and then he gets out of his car, throws his keys in the weeds, and like, "You didn't see me behind the wheel. I wasn't behind the wheel when you caught me." I love it.
Hey, real quick, I won't say his name. I love you, my buddy. You know who you are. 20 years ago, he led the police in Hudson on the slowest low speed chase of ever. He left the bar and drove at like 4.5 miles per hour for like 4 miles. And same thing, he pulled up into his yard and he got out and the cops were like, "What? Get out." He's like, whoa, I'm just going home, guys. And they tackled him in his front yard.
Then he was like,
"My knee."
What's up, Mert?
Oh man, it's off the rails. Coach Lynn says Johnson Jr. makes the 53. There's no doubt about it.
100%.
Yeah,
Has to.
The question is, and again,
We're
I
keeping
think
5 safeties. We have to. It's got to
Oh,
be McKinney, Johnson, Bullard, Williams, KO.
and if we look, let's do this. Let's look at the 53 from last year. If I could find it again, final 53. Yeah, we kept 5 safeties last year. Let's say we go that route again. So read them off again, Emilio, the ones that you think will make the team here.
X, Anthony Johnson, Bullard, Williams, and KO.
Got it. All right. I think you're spotted. What's crazy too is Benny Sapp been playing pretty good ball too. Zane Anderson is one of Rich Bisaccia's favorites on special teams. I think what it's going to come down to is Rich Bisaccia might have to choose between Christian Welch and Zane Anderson. If that's the case, give me Christian Welch.
Yeah, dude.
That dude, man, absolutely balled out.
Right.
I think Emilio's got something he's going to share on the screen. What we got here, Emilio? Talk to me.
I was just pulling up the 53 here just so that we could see it a little bit better here. But I was saying, so we got X, Anthony Johnson, Bullard, Williams, and KO, and all 3 of these guys are rookies, right? So they have to stay. They have to stay on the roster. We got X, we just paid, and Johnson is the personal. I saw him as personal protector for punt. I mean, they're not going to put the dude there if they don't like him out on the field, right? So, I think they have to make the roster there.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, when you got someone who's toward the bottom of the roster that can do multiple things, it's absolutely huge. And I do see him as Xavier McKinney's backup, like you've got it listed there, right, on that side of the field. Yeah. On the opposite side, Bullard, Williams, Oladapo, I think that's kind of how that sits. So are you suggesting that Benny Sapp – you're not saying Benny Sapp make the 53, right? Or
no. That was just me when I was kind of putting the –
you got everybody listed out. I see what you've done now. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, cool. All right, good stuff, man. It's good to kind of get a bird's eye view of that. We may go back to it here in a second. So when it came to the defensive side of the ball, obviously, here are all the stats. Christian Welch, 6 tackles. Chris Russell, 5 tackles. Tyron Hopper, 5 tackles. Once again, Tyron Hopper, I didn't see any pass coverage snaps, but it was like anytime they ran the ball and Hopper was on the field, he is meeting those run fits aggressively.
Yeah, he's going to tackle for a loss again, too.
Did you see him smoke the quarterback?
Yeah, dude. Ooh.
I mean, the guy didn't slide till after he hit him, but I'd still – and then he got up just trying to check and see if he got a flag.
Right.
I love how he plays, though. And he's on kick return. He's out there blocking, so he's making the roster. They're not gonna have him out on kick return blocking if he's not already planning to be there moving forward.
Yeah, I think Coach Lynn said it perfect there. Hopper has real stopping power. When he hits guys, they stop in their tracks.
And he was playing Mike. It looked like he was playing the Mike when he was out there running it.
Yeah, that was weird too. I noticed that as well. Do you guys also notice who the leading tackler was for Baltimore? You guys remember scouting out Bo Braid?
Yep.
Yeah, he looked pretty good. That's the one thing that kept flashing to me too. I was like, dang, man, if we didn't have our safety room set, I'd be kind of jealous. But yeah, he looks good.
David Colvin, let's pull that back up there real quick if you don't care. That chat we just had up, that one. Yeah. All right. David Colvin said, definitely Welch, but who are we going to lose? So if we go back to the 53 from last year and we talk linebackers, again, think inside linebackers. We carried 5. You'll probably carry 6 this year would be my guess. There's a decent chance of carrying 6. Let's say 5, 2, 6 here, okay? So if we were only keeping 5, you got Quay Walker, Eric Wilson, Isaiah McDuffie, Tyron Hopper, Edgerrin Cooper, if he's healthy. That's 5 right there. So now it comes down to, do you carry 6, being Christian Welch, Raylan Goforth, Christian Young, or Chris Russell? To me, Christian Welch, head and shoulders above those other 3 guys, right? The question is, do you carry 6 instead of 5? That's the big problem here. Because you're going to be carrying 5.
You got a little bit of 5 safeties.
A little bit of static. Right? It might have been your phone, brother. I don't know. Is it too close to the mic? Maybe. You hear that too, Emilio?
I did maybe for a sec. It's gone now. But I was looking at so you got 5 safeties. I think you almost have to keep at least 5 backers, potentially 6 with Welch there. I mean, looking at it, looking at the 53 real quick that we put sideways, I don't know where else they would go. You got Christian Young and then Russell and then Goforth. Those three aren't. I mean, they're not making that, right? So it's got to be
tough, man. It's tough. So if you're going to have to carry 6 to keep Welch. Hopefully, Edgerrin Cooper doesn't start on IR. That would suck, right? But what were you going to say?
Those 6, right?
Yeah, no, I'm just sitting here because to me, in my head, we always seem to sneak one special teams guy on that nobody really kind of saw coming. So to me, it's going to be either Rochelle, Welch, or I'm trying to think of who else it would be. I really think Rochelle or Welch somehow is going to find their way onto this team. I'm just trying to figure out how that works. Like who gets bumped? Is there some sort of musical chairs situation where they throw someone on IR /pup / whatever the case may be? I'm just, I got a lot of guys played really good today, man. Mosby, I think, played his way onto at least that practice squad. You know what I'm saying? And I thought freaking Wooden had a great day. I thought, does anybody know about the Ford injury, the extent of that?
Yeah, I actually had an update on that. Let me go find it real quick because there was multiple people tweeting about it. I'll just read it off rather than throw it on the screen. A calf injury for Ford is what it was. So we know it's a calf, hopefully not an Achilles, right? Anytime you see people think it's a calf, sometimes it can be an Achilles. Hopefully that's not the case. Just trying to look through here. I don't see any other updates from that. Let me check over here with Spoon. And again, Jonathan Ford, I think obviously he's practice squad at best, but he is one of some of that depth at nose tackle that you're going to need if you're going to play a run heavy team and need that extra one tech on game day. I'm not seeing anything else, Jacob. All I got is a calf injury.
Okay.
So,
are you putting Cox in your starters right there? Is that what I see, Emilio?
This is what I think we're making, right? Greens would all be making the 53.
Yeah.
And then
what do you think about the fact that Mr. Len, Coach Len here, is talking about keeping 4 tight ends, man? I thought there's a possibility we might try to sneak just 2
offense here.
Because that's one of those areas where I feel like I saw Wilson drop one bad drop. Otherwise, I really liked what I saw to him again. Ben Sims, Davis. I feel like him, all those guys are kind of like teetering around 3 and 4. Yeah. But I could feel I feel like we could, because last year, what did we do? 3, right? Yeah, we started with 3, Musgrave, Kraft, and DeGuara, man. I could see us trying to sneak 2 on and then doing some sort of musical chairs sort of situation because
what do you think? You think Ben Sims is next, you said? I'm sorry.
I like Sims over Davis, but I just feel like the coaching staff likes Davis over Sims,
Yeah, that's what it's going to come down to. So here's the thing. If you like Davis and Sims equally, then they're both not going to get signed to an active roster. I think we would all agree.
I don't think either of them will, do you?
Why just not carry 2 tight ends on your initial 53, and then that's a way you can hold on to an extra spot until you need to activate those guys, right?
Right.
That's what I was thinking. Hey, were you guys surprised to see how much attention Glover was getting at right tackle? Like, I just, for whatever reason, pictured him as an interior guy. I just didn't think
he played tackle his whole college career.
Yeah, I know. I just, for whatever reason, I felt like the Packers were not going to give him a real shot at tackle. I just feel like that they were going to try to do one of those things where they kind of redshirt him, him inside, see what they've got. But they really were trying to figure him out today, right? If I'm not mistaken, he kind of got the bulk of that snaps, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought he looked pretty darn good, if I'm not mistaken. And he's bigger than I thought, man. He's a big dude.
He is, and I like him in pass protection, and I like that in run. He's always getting downfield. He's always trying to, you saw him kind of, obviously he's trying to block a corner, so he's not as athletic as him, but I like that he's getting down there trying to get a hand on him. Emmanuel's, cutting off the back hip. It's good to see.
I liked really much what I saw in Monk too. I don't know how you guys thought about that, but I just thought he's again a bigger boy than I thought he was. And there was maybe 1 or 2 snaps where I feel like the quarterback had to dip down just a slight bit. But other than that, I thought it looked clean.
Yeah. So looking at what Emilio's got on the screen here with the entire roster, you've got basically 10 offensive line highlighted, right? Emilio, thinking they'll keep 10. That makes a lot of sense. It really does.
I want Glover on there, but and Wilson, we want Wilson to make the roster, right? So that's
The only thing you want to do there, and you can fix it later, you don't have to do it now, is move Kadeem Telford to right tackle, Andre Dillard to left tackle. That's the only thing you need to kind of.
Yeah, Emilio. God.
Look at this, man.
Oh, man.
I hate that so much, dude. Oh, that drives me insane.
Oh, no.
Anyways.
Sorry, Emilio. I ruined it.
It's just
I'm over here going, you probably want to fix that, and I don't have a damn clue on how you're doing any of this.
It's all right. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 22 players right now with one quarterback. I mean, that's.
I'm telling you, dude, I like the idea of throwing both those guys. At least Clifford on the practice squad. They're not going to sign him, man. Nobody's going to sign him to their active 53. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
does Marshawn Lloyd? He's going to have to go on the injury, right?
Maybe, yeah. And I think that's how it plays out right there. Here's the thing too, AJ Dillon might too.
Oh.
With that stinger.
That's true.
Because many people don't know. I just learned early last week that stinger issue. That was what kept him out late in the year last year too.
Mm-hmm.
So in the playoffs, I think against the Niners, he didn't play because of that stinger. And then you come back the very next year, preseason, you have it happen again. That's what LaFleur was talking about. When you have things like that continually happen, it's you get worried about it, because stingers
and Tyler Davis are both practice squad, right? We're thinking.
That's how I would do that.
Do you think Wilson makes the practice squad?
I do.
You do?
So.
I think there's a decent chance, yeah.
He's been balling out. Caleb Jones, we've had him forever. Does he make the practice squad?
I feel like. So how many practice squatters do we get? Isn't it like 6? Is it
16, I believe, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would throw Caleb Jones in there. I think if Glover doesn't make the 53, you got to throw him there.
Right.
Geez. I would obviously put DeBose there, right? Got to.
Has to.
And again, these are not predictions. We're just spitballing here. Okay. We're going to fine tune this. We're just looking at it going, okay, what makes the most sense based off what we've seen?
Right.
I think that's a good start. Can we swap over to the defensive side now and see what do we got there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, about man.
So
I think Mosby definitely got himself on here. Rochelle got himself on here.
Christian Welch, yep.
Zane possibly.
You think?
Special
Kept him around for so long.
For
Special
me,
teams.
Zane, I don't know about Zane.
You don't know?
Mm.
You'd think they're going to keep one safety though, right, Clay? So would you take Sapp or Zane? You'd have to think they'd take at least one on the practice squad, right?
Yeah, I think I would choose Sapp, but again,
I like Sapp a lot.
It sounds like Rich Bisaccia really likes Zane Anderson. So that's a tough one there.
I think Banks maybe played his way onto this, Ford and Banks. I think that's fair.
I think Ford too as well because we've had him around for so long anyway.
Yeah, a lot of value in him knowing.
Depending on the injury, obviously, but
yeah. So what's that put us up to now as far as practice squad? That's
5 there.
Yep, and then we have
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is that 15? Am I thinking right?
All right, I could see us throwing Jennings in there, one of the running backs. I'd probably guess.
Yeah.
Just overdo the offense. Just put a bunch of offensive players on the practice
squad. That's the
squad.
thing. We're very offense heavy on the practice squad right now.
I mean, compared to this, who else did we like? Did you like anybody else? Did you like Waggy? And he didn't play.
Honestly, Jamon Green, I feel like has showed a little bit here and there, but I think Zane Anderson would get it above a lot of those other guys.
That's fair.
Yeah,
yep. I mean, it's just crazy to think that they have a 53, right? But then I really think the battle is going to be on trying to figure out this practice squad and see where everyone's landing.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's fair.
All right, wrapping up the defensive stuff as Emilio gets that straightened out there real quick. Kalen King, 5 tackles. Obviously had the forced fumble too. Anthony Johnson Jr. didn't show up very often in the stat column here, but I'm telling you, I felt like the guy had a good game. It just seemed like he played very, very comfortable out there. Let's see what else we got here. Like you said, Jamon Green, 4 tackles. Christian Young, 4 tackles. Jonathan Ford, 3 tackles. Pretty cool from someone who typically plays a 1 tech. Aaron Mosby obviously just balled out. Yeah. Tackle for a loss, strip sack. Also had an interception as well. Christian Welch with the interception. Those 2 guys, man, if the Packers were to cut either or both of those guys, they put one hell of an audition tape together for their last game with the Packers. I think there's going to be some teams go, you know what? There might be something there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, we'll go back to your 53 projection here. So you just
working on.
Okay, all right, go ahead. You're good. Keep doing your thing, man. That's all right.
No, you're fine.
So you're just throwing the 53 together.
Yeah, and I was just going to try to see who's making the practice squad just so that we could kind of visualize it just a little bit better. But, man, I don't envy their decisions they got to make here.
Do you think there's any truth to what Coach was saying here, that he thinks that they hid Rochelle this game?
Makes sense. Well, here's the thing, like what Drew D was hitting at too, and what Coach LaFleur said in the presser just a second ago. He kind of slipped and said something about an injury, and was like and he kind of grinned. So it was almost like it was. And again, you could read it 1,000 different ways, but it sounded like Coach LaFleur was saying Rochelle was injured is the reason he didn't play.
Right. And he kind of slipped up talking about that little walkthrough we had there.
Okay. And if I understood correctly, too, there's a rule change this year. You know, in the past, when you would put guys on IR, you had to carry them on the 53, then put them on the IR. Now they say you can put 2 on the IR without having to get them to the 53 first. So that sounds like some kind of rule change, a little more flexibility in that regard. So keep that in mind when it comes to some of these injuries that we got going on, whether it's Rochelle or who have you. Yeah, there you go. That's what David Colvin's just saying. How about 2 players on the IR? So if you had to pick 2 players that are currently injured, you could put on the IR to manipulate the roster just a touch. To me, it seems like Marshawn Lloyd is one. All right, seeing that the hammy still might be a little tweaked. Mm-hmm. Who's another one that you go, he's banged up? I mean, I hate to say 2 running backs, but A.J. Dillon might fall into that category too, you know?
Yeah, I was going to say that, or Morgan. Is he still falling that category?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's a good
Jordan
point.
Morgan.
It's possible. I think they're trying to be really cautious with Jordan Morgan because they didn't want to do any more damage before week 1. It's almost like, okay, he's ready to go, but there's no reason to push it out there.
And I think he really is ready. I think you're right on that, Clayton. Like, that dude is different. When we saw him blocking, I think he's got that first round talent. And most of the time you can get an offensive lineman to come out and play in the first round. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So something else that was said, let me go back to the box score real quick here.
Go for it.
And let's talk kicker for a minute. I know everybody's fired up about this.
Get them kickers.
Greg Joseph went 2 for 2 with a long, it says in the box score, 55 yards. And that was a beautiful freaking kick. I don't know if you guys see him. I mean, he split the uprights on that. I thought it was a 54, but evidently it was officially a 55. Anders Carlson went 1 for 2 with a 54-yarder. So
were you mad at that?
What's that?
Were you mad at his miss?
No. Listen, I had a run-in on Twitter. Somebody, we followed each other. I posted the kick by Anders. Anders hammers home a 54-yarder. I was excited about it. Like, hey, all right, here we go. The guy came back and said, I can't remember the comment he made, but it was something like, even that kick looked like it barely scraped through. They need to cut. And I was just like, I just hit him back with a gif of like, that's weird. It's weird. Yeah. The guy made the damn kick, and you're out here trying to cut it because he made a kick because it wasn't perfect down the middle. So, with that being said, man, I think Anders Carlson's probably got the job. But that 55-yarder with Greg Joseph, and we've heard people talk about it in camp, it sounds like his leg is just as strong as Anders. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this. I know Tim's talked about it several times. Anders has a short stride. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Like not stride length, but he's like much closer to the holder, as where Greg Joseph is more traditional with like an extra step in the process. It just looks so weird watching Anders kick from that short a distance, from not as far back as most kickers. But when it comes to Greg Joseph, I think Rob Domofsky actually asked a question, or he put a tweet out. Rob Domofsky tweeted, Packers coach Matt LaFleur on whether the opening day kicker is on the roster. Coach LaFleur said, quote, that's not even a question for me. We've got a really good sample size, and we'll see what happens around the league. Both had good moments, and then there's a poor moment, and Carlson's miss is what he was talking about.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah, that's not even a question for me. We've got a really good sample size, and we'll see what happens around the league. Jacob, that sounds exactly like what you were talking about, man.
Yeah, was I taking a little nappy nap while Anders missed one? Did he miss one late in the game?
Oh, you did
Yes,
take
so,
a
I guess you-
nap, then, Jacob.
I tell you what, boys. I tell you what. How long was it?
It was like a 37-yarder for I think it was a 30-yarder.
So of course, yeah, the haters are going to be chirping now. And
Mr.
don't get me wrong.
Right.
Obviously, I am the king. I'm number one as far as stirring the pot with the kicker situation. I understand that. At this point, though, in the game, I think it's clear that we're going to be with Anders. So once we make the decision, I'm full tilt, full tide, all in for Anders. So, Greg Joseph, like Clinton just said, has a great leg. I think he'll probably have a future in the NFL at some capacity in some way. I don't think it's going to be with the Packers. I think that the development of Anders is going to continue, and obviously, I think they wouldn't have signed Mr. Down Under Hale to the international. There you go. Yeah, you put him in the red.
Talk about discriminating. My God.
Lord, put him in hot red, dude.
Hey, if you guys and gals would hit that like button for us real quick. We got a bunch of people in here. We greatly appreciate if you take just a second, hit like, share, all that good stuff. Feel free to follow the channel as well. Channel blew up earlier. We got a bunch of subs from the pregame show. This year is going to be absolutely awesome. We're excited about everybody kind of being along for the ride with us here. So go ahead, Jacob. Do you have something else you were saying, man?
No, man. I mean, I just think that it's got to be Anders. I'm going to jump on board and support him completely. And do you guys have any sort of hesitation towards the special team group, specifically the long snapper? I don't think I have any issue with the holder. I have no problems with the punter. It's so weird how the punter just like that guy. That's got to be like the most smooth and easy person's job this whole offseason. You know what I mean? Whelan's just over there, just smoking lung darts. He's like, "It was my turn. My turn." Coach goes out there.
Dude, Whelan, listen, I might buy a jersey. Whelan is one of my favorite Packers. That dude, he literally, the holding problem was fixed the second we signed him.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he is absolutely booming kicks. Let me drop this down real quick. Again, 3 punts, 136 yards, one inside the 20, one on 55. The dude is, I'm telling you, he's just so freaking steady. Like, sign him to a contract extension so you can get him on the cheaper, get out ahead of it, have the holding, the punting, everything taken care of for the foreseeable future. I wanted to say that to also point this out. Do y'all hear something dinging right now? Do y'all hear that?
Negative.
Mandy is, I don't know what she's doing in the car, but she is beating and banging on something that's metal.
I told you to get them shelves put up before she got upset, man.
Get out of there, Mandy.
She's waiting at the bottom of the steps with a baseball bat banging it on.
Ready to take your leg.
So, the one thing I want to point out here, notice we only kept 2 special teamers last year. We did not carry a long snapper. We manipulated the roster in that fashion. And what that says is they were okay with both long snappers, but obviously they re-signed Matt Orzik the following Wednesday. So they may go that route again. I don't know. But I'm just so damn happy that we ain't got to worry about bad snaps, bad holds. And I'm like, let's just keep those guys. Let's make sure they're secure. Because if we ever have to go back to 2021, it's going to involve a water gun, Jacob. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to do bad things with a water. So it's crazy, man. Like, that makes me a little nervous that they might try to do that again and Matt Orzik gets signed somewhere. But I guess all of the 31 teams probably got their long snapper already in-house, I would imagine. So, so there's a chance that could happen. What are we looking at here now, Emilio?
So now I've got it kind of spread out where we had them vertically. So for offense, we've got a count of 22 players making it. That just has Jordan Love and 3 running backs of Jacobs, A.J. Dillon, and Emmanuel Wilson. On this, we have Pratt and Clifford on the practice squad currently. And then for defense, we've got 23. So that would leave us at 50.
50 right now.
50 plus Anders and Daniel would bring us to 52.
Yeah. I honestly think that they will not only carry one quarterback. You know what I mean? I think they'll carry at least two. Here's the issue I have. I think Pratt is more likely to get signed than Clifford.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I could see Clifford being put on the practice squad and Michael Pratt on the active roster. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just seems
odd.
Yeah, it does.
Like a demotion sort of look, but he's still there, but he got kind of demoted. But I mean, that's right now where we have it. There's one open spot to make this team, or to make the 53. How we've got it written up right now. So, and then with the practice squad currently, we're at 11 plus 6, 17. So I mean, we have one over on the practice squad right now.
You guys are getting a little hate in the comments right here. All right. So first of all, Omar says, you got Royce Newman on the 53, Clayton. I'm done.
Omar, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you, sir.
You out of your damn minds. And then this one was even more aggressive. I thought Mr. Ken Summers coming in hot.
When have you ever heard me say Royce Newman needs to make the 53, Omar?
I was just coloring.
I think it's just looking at you. Ken Summers says, you guys are all delusional putting your faith in Carlson. He clearly has PSD he won't recover from. He's shell-shocked. Joseph is your opening day kicker.
You want to put some money on that, Ken?
Let's go, Ken. Let's make it a gentleman's bet.
Gentleman's bet. Everyone.
Yeah, PTA, Packers Totals Access, Patreon.com. Go ahead and just make that bet. One of the three members.
Here's the issue I have with this. If you say you like – now, keep that up there, please, sir.
You want that up there?
Yes. If you say I like Joseph over Carlson, I would not say you're stupid. I would never – I get it. But to so confidently say that Joseph is a better kicker than Carlson, when last year Joseph's stats were worse than Carlson, and in training camp Carlson has outkicked Joseph, it just amazes me you can be that confident in your opinion on that.
Hey, Ken says
say
how
someone
much.
is delusional.
Ken says how much you want to bet. Let's go, Ken.
Yeah, let's go. Okay, so
put this on the books.
Here's the friendly wager. You're saying that Greg Joseph will be the opening day kicker, correct, Kim?
Ken.
That's what I said, Ken. Correct, Ken?
Yeah.
I think that's true.
All right.
You can call me anything you want, but don't call me that.
Confirm that for me, Ken, that you're saying your bet is Greg Joseph will be the kicker, the opening day kicker on the active roster over Anders Carlson. Just confirm that for me, and then we'll come up with a friendly little wager here. And here's the way it's going to work, Ken. You're not going to disappear. We're going to get some kind of contact information, sir, because we've seen this happen many times before. All of a sudden, Ken Summers disappears off YouTube, never back in the comments again. So obviously, we're not going to bet money because that's illegal to do gambling on a YouTube show. But we will have a friendly wager and hold each other accountable.
Because his Twitter name is probably Jacob. And
I can see that.
I'm just down here going, I'm going to get him.
And again, my issue, I told you guys, if Greg Joseph had a 5-kick lead in camp, then I'd be like, I'm probably leaning toward Greg Joseph. I'm not an Anders Carlson fanboy. I'm not. But to pretend like, my God, he's so much worse than Joseph, nothing statistically says that. Nothing.
You guys know I've been so critical of the kicker group in general, and even at this point I understand completely. It's Anders, man. It's Anders.
Andy A. Pat coming in here sharing some reasonable knowledge. He says Ryan did a breakdown of kicker stats, and the type of kicker you guys want just doesn't exist. Carlson is fine and will have the job. Don't know what to tell you. LOL. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. Everybody gets settled into this like Anders Carlson is just absolutely horrible, and it's not the case. Like it, and to pretend like there's this kicker sitting out there that kicks 93%. Why are we not signing him? That is not the case currently. So, I think
you're telling me you didn't miss that patch of grass before. You know, you're telling me you didn't cut that. You know, cut that one stripe down the side of the house or something. I'm sure Jacob cut the wrong limb off a tree once in a while. Like, mistakes happen, man. I don't. The kid is never going to be 100%.
Jacob says he makes his mistakes on Saturday nights occasionally. That's just saying.
Hey, I'm just saying my first time on a zero turn when I helped a buddy with his landscaping business. I'm just saying.
Oh boy.
I had to convince him. I was going for an American flag wave effect. You know,
I love it.
You just got. Sometimes you just, it is what it is.
Ken chimes back in and says, "I'm here. That's wonderful, sir." Okay.
Thank you, Ken. Hey,
we've been waiting, bro.
Yeah.
We thought you left.
Ken, you got to confirm here.
All in fun, though, honestly, because we're not trying to hate on you, Ken, because that's a great. Honestly, that I love people that stand on their morals, but let's make this an actual legitimate gentleman's bet here. I'm saying, don't sneak out of this, Ken. Let's go. Let's do this.
So, Ken, you were saying Anders Carlson or Greg Joseph will be the week 1 starter. Is that correct? That's the question.
And if so, how about we do this? We'll donate $50. The winner donates $50 to a charity of their choice. How about that?
Talking about Jacob's mishaps on Saturday night, Respect Orange just says he's a real pretty lady. It was dark.
Hey, in the dark, they're all 10s. All right.
Jeez.
Oh my God. And again, here's the thing, like, if you're saying that that Greg Joseph is going to be the kicker week 1, I'm taking that bet. I'm taking it. And again, we'll come up with maybe some kind of charitable cause or something. I don't know. We'll figure something out. But with what LaFleur said right there, and like what Jacobs pointed out, my money would be on Anders Carlson being the week 1 kicker, although that's not what the bet is here. But if a better kicker comes available, it sounds like Matt LaFleur and Goody are keeping their eyes open for it. And I think there's a legitimate shot Anders could be stashed on the practice squad for Bisaccia to continue to work with. I think that could be the case too. So we'll see. Still no word from Ken. May have had to step out again. We'll see what happens.
Man, you see how that happens?
There he goes.
Look, I'm right here.
I'm right here.
Yeah, you keep saying you're here. I appreciate that, but can we get an answer? We've asked you 3 times.
I think we got a troll. That's all that is. So, all right, let's. We're at an hour 10. Let's get ready to wrap this big bear up here. Milio, what do you want to hit on here as far as your roster goes? We'll hit on a couple of these other chats too.
Dude, I'm just looking at it like this: the fact that there's only 1 open spot to put on the roster. If we're, if we've looked at who's green on here currently on our offense, that's 10 linemen. Maybe we reel that in a little bit. But it's going to be crazy to get that number down, and are we going to be carrying Pratt or Clifford on the 53? I think it almost has to happen. So they really need to make some decisions this weekend. Obviously, they already know who's on the team that they have, but somebody made a play this game that made a difference.
Yeah. All right, Ken, shoot me an email. All right. If you're on Twitter, send me a DM at Packers_access or send an email, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. That way we're connected outside of YouTube. And if Greg Joseph is the week 1 kicker, okay, if he is put on the 53-man roster as the starting kicker, what I'm going to do is I'm going to trying to think of how we won't get in trouble here.
I'll send him $50. I'll Venmo him $50.
Damn, Jacob, money bags. So there you go, Ken. 50 to the winner's charity. There you go. Perfect.
Hey, I like that. Thank you. Hey, Ken's a good guy.
Shake on it, Jacob.
Virtual shake. There you are, Ken. I'll go
Ken, shake his hand, Ken.
I'll go tunnels to towers. That'll be my charity. That's my my favorite charity.
Oh my God, I love it.
There, I changed the roster for Ken so that he was happy.
Love it. Oh boy, that's all I needed to see. Why are you gaslighting? That's all I needed to see.
There we go.
Let's go ahead and
So for this says money to the organization loser hates least. PETA. Dwight Schrute. That's all I hear.
Chris said, listen, stop shortchanging it, boys. Let's do tattoos here. What are we doing?
Oh,
tattoo bets are all the rage here for sure.
Drew says Jacob does so many of these bets. He already has a charity lined up. Heck yeah, I do.
Yeah. I love it. All right, Jacob, anything else, man? We got to wrap this thing up.
No, man. Honestly, that was a great day. Very excited. I'm mad at myself that I grandpa'd it and fell asleep in the old chair. And
wonder what happened.
Hey man, I got a little excited. I got real amped up around 4:30 this morning, and then I had to wait like 7 hours before the game started, and then I got strong finish, and then I
just the tip though.
Thank you.
Must have been gifted one of those chairs, Jacob. You know, the ones with the remote on them. They get up kind of slow, but they help you stand right up. I mean, you got the hookups, that's for sure.
What are you trying to say?
a fan right here.
You dirty.
All right. Anything else, Emilio? You good?
Bates is a man. Said I'll match the winners because I support T2T. Let's go.
That's Tunnels to Towers. That's a great organization. Just FYI, if you ever want to donate somewhere.
There you go. Like it. All right. So we've got this in the program now. We can look over this again tomorrow, right, Emilio?
Yeah. It's in the
show. Let everybody sleep on it. And
F them.
Even though they want Newman out of there. So we might need to change his color or something.
Yeah. What do you got, Jake?
I can't put it on the screen.
Yeah.
What is wrong with
it? Was a good game against the Ravens. They scored 7 points. Halfley's happy. I'm ready for the defense to
Ken Summers says I'm driving. All right, Ken.
Don't
drive.
Yeah,
Keep on driving, my man.
Yeah.
You're good. Like I said, shoot me an email, packerstotalaccess@gmail.com, and we'll stay connected. And also, if you can, hit me up on Twitter, too. That would be a little easier to communicate there. So, all right, that's it. Parting thoughts, fellas? Anything else?
Roster cut down is Tuesday. Is that correct, Clayton?
I believe that is correct. Let's look at the dates real quick. Let me hit you with one of these first, though. I think that was there you go. All right, on our way up the board here. Roster cut down date is August 27th. So obviously that is on Tuesday. I think, what'd you say, Emilio? Tuesday by 4 p.m.?
I want to say it's 4 Eastern, 3 Central.
3 Central. Okay, cool. So there you go. We should have all that info by then. So tomorrow will be heavy 53-man roster talk, practice squad talk, all that good stuff. Of course, we won't know about the practice squad till probably the 28th, 29th, somewhere around there.
I think they have to have the practice squad set by 28th, either at noon or around the same 4 o'clock time. So right back to back, we'll have those two numbers out.
So they got 24 hours, right, for everybody to
I
clear
believe
away.
so. Yeah.
Do we want to do a morning show tomorrow, Clinton?
Tomorrow's Sunday, right?
Yes.
Hell yeah, we're going to do a morning show. Does a bear poop in Atham's yard? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we definitely will, for sure. So we'll be back tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Central Time, to talk more Packers. We'll hit on this 53 again. We probably won't have this nifty little tool because Emilio will be snuggled up in his race car bed. He will.
No, you'll have it. It's on the sheets.
We don't know how to operate that thing. Are you kidding me? I don't know how to drive a stick. All right. Hey, thanks everybody for hanging out. This was a lot of fun. Also, thanks to everyone in the Patreon. Oh, we got a giveaway. I am not prepared.
Oh,
you guys, I need you to buy me some time. I about dropped the ball. Let me get this ready. Please say something important. Talk about something. We got to get through this.
John Deere green on a hot summer night. Hero Billy Bob loves Charlene.
I thought you were talking about who was making the 53.
Just like what she said, it's going to take a little longer than that, okay? So we're going to need a little more time, gents.
No, I really am excited for this team, man. It's crazy that Afim said it right here. Viva la Brazil, man. It's time. We're closing in, 2 Fridays away? So
that's crazy, dude.
And I'm sorry. Let me just mention real quick this background, courtesy of your very own.
Is that Timmy?
Yeah, Packers Total Access. Tim right here with the absolute gem. We need to get it. We need to get him an upgraded camera when we start actually doing something with this pod.
That looks pretty good. I'm just saying. Tool for this says bring on the rigged pinky. Man, Eric also says rigged. Chris Ends going to hell, saying PTA over church.
Yeah, don't do that, please. Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
Coach over here. John Deere's going to be in the shop for the first 4 weeks.
Oh, buddy.
Let's see here. What is today's date? Is what, the 24th?
The 24th.
Let me mark this
that
for
is it.
Purposes here. So this is for a copy of Take Your Eye Off the Ball 2.0.
Take it out.
By Pat Kerwin. Just hit all the sound bites while we're trying to buy time here, right? That's what we're going to do. All right, here we go.
We're ready to
So get
roll.
the Pinky Will ready.
Oh.
Let's see here. Let me do this. Pop this over. That's a little better, right? Look at that. You kidding me? I don't know. It's a little better if we can see the names too.
Why is Emilio's name on here? First of all,
but listen, I copied the CSV. If Emilio wins, he ain't getting jack.
I support the podcast, Jacob. How come you can't get on Patreon?
I'm not gonna lie. Last night I almost joined Patreon, and then I thought, nah.
He said, I thought about joining Patreon, but then I continued on living my life. So, here we go. You ready? Y'all ready to spin it, boys?
Spin it.
All right, here we go. The winner of Take Your Eye Off the Ball 2.0 on the Larry McCarron Pinky Will is – no, it ain't. No,
it's not. No, it's not. Is it Pat Daddy?
No. Sorry, sir. Not going to happen. We're spinning it again.
No,
the winner of Take Your Eye Off the Ball 2.0 by Pat Kerwin.
What if he actually might want that, though?
Well, he ain't getting.
Oh, it landed on the Pinky.
Ew. Gross. Joe Stadler.
All right, there we go. Joe Stadler is our winner of Take Your Eye Off the Ball 2.0 for this. The wheel hadn't stopped spinning yet, and he said rigged. Told y'all it's rigged. So Joe Stadler is our winner. Appreciate you guys and gals for supporting us over at Patreon. And again, if you want to join that group, you can scan the QR code in the upper right. We got some really cool stuff going on there. Different chat, multiple chats created when we do our Chalk Talk segments. A lot of screen grabs in there, things put in place to kind of make it a little more visual as we go into the chat or go into the shows. And also, we're going to ask questions. We got a section where we have listener questions for the show. We highlight those on episodes coming up, so it's a good way to get your voice heard there as well. So just scan the QR code. If that doesn't work, then just go to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. And anyone who's a member of one of those 3 tiers that we have and supporting the show, that's how you get your name on the Pinky Wheel
and
given
that's
away.
You talk to me and Clayton because Jacob's not in there because he doesn't care about the
Right?
program.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, it's totally cool. He's supporting local senior citizens, so he's doing his duty while we're all supporting over here at Patreon. So it is what it is. So, on assignment, on assignment at Shady Oaks. But anyway, all right. Anything else, fellas? We went way over. I apologize for not having that ready.
It's called investing, Clayton. Investing in the future.
You heard it from a fan right here.
Or the past. Investing in the past is what I would call it, Jacob.
Jacob walks in the door.
Yeah, here we go.
3 words. Here we go. And 3 more words. This show sucks.
Oh, now I'm gonna break your hip. All right.
For those of you listening on the pod,
thank you for making us a part of your day. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world. Don't be like Jacob. Go Pack Go.
You sure about that?